In a FIFA World Cup without Nigeria, there were 15 players of Nigerian origin in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, out of which 14 represented 8 countries across Europe and North America. 11 players of Nigerian origin represented 6 different European countries, alongside 3 players of Nigerian origin representing 2 different North American countries. I have no issue with players of Nigerian origin representing other nationalities. Having Nigerian roots do not automatically put any player under any obligation of pledging their international allegiance to the national team. Getting players of Nigerian origin who were born outside the country into pledging their allegiance to the Super Eagles of Nigeria is a very lazy way of building the national team. There are equally or more talented footballers in the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, but no thanks to the maladministration of the NFF, which have culminated in the rot and the systemic failure in Nigerian football. The Nigerian football system has been bedeviled by systemic failure, no thanks to the NFF. Every player of Nigerian origin representing other national team or any other national team is a product and a beneficiary of huge investments into world-class systems, developmental structure, and a sound football education. The FA, that's the English FA, carries out football clinics, community outreaches targeted at developing players and coaches at grassroots level who don't have access to top class academies, or coaches who don't have the means of carrying out their UEFA Pro license. And this is backed by a broad investment of over £120 million into the wider English game, with over £1 million injected weekly into the grassroots infrastructure and participation. So it is very unfair to poach these players at the expense of their adopted countries who have invested so much in developing them. If these players were born and raised in Nigeria, they wouldn't have burst into the limelight at the time they did in their individual careers, because of the structural and systemic failure in the Nigerian football ecosystem. And I'll prove it to you. On the 18th of September 2022, Arsenal's Ethan Nwaneri became the youngest ever player to play in the Premier League when he came on from the bench against Brentford at the age of 15 years, 181 days. Now, have this ever been replicated in the Nigerian Premier League? Traveling to any European country to meet with a player of Nigerian origin whose mind is already made up on his international future is less dignifying, and it is more cost effective to create a scouting system in order to discover local talents. You can object to my opinion referencing the Moroccan team, where 19 out of the 26 players were born outside Morocco, or and as well as the Cape Verdean team, where 14 out of the 26 players were born outside Cape Verde. But you have to recognize the fact that the Moroccan FA wouldn't have a difficult time convincing those 19 players into pledging their allegiance because the project and football development in Morocco is an attractive and exciting prospect to the Moroccan players. Yes, to these Moroccan players born outside Morocco. And the same applies to the 14 Cape Verdean players born outside Cape Verde. The NFF can't boast of any long term project or any exciting prospect that it's uh, any exciting prospect that is attractive enough to lure any player of Nigerian origin into pledging their allegiance to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, we do not have 100% success rate of players of Nigerian origin pledging their international allegiance to their adopted countries. Yes, but the success rates of these Nigerian players pledging their allegiance to their adopted countries is a discussion for another day. Yes, I'll be making another video on the success rates and the defining factor.